You're about to recognize things in your own trolley. That's fine. We've all been there. But after watching this, you won't be. Number 1. Tropicana orange juice. Let's get one thing straight. Tropicana is not orange juice. It's a processed, pasteurized, flavor-engineered liquid that happens to contain oranges somewhere upstream in the process. Here's what they don't print on the carton. After squeezing, the juice is stored in massive industrial tanks, sometimes for up to a year, with the oxygen stripped out to prevent spoilage. This also strips the flavor. So before bottling, Tropicana adds back what they call flavor packs. Proprietary blends of orange-derived compounds specifically engineered to make the product taste like what you'd expect fresh orange juice to taste like. They're technically allowed to call it not from concentrate because the compounds originate from oranges. That's accurate. It's also deeply misleading. A 1.35-litre carton costs around £3.50. A bag of 6 oranges at most UK supermarkets costs £1. You could juice them in 4 minutes. You'd get real vitamin C, actual flavour, and the satisfaction of knowing exactly what went into your glass. Tropicana is paying for a factory's worth of processing, packaging, refrigerated transport, and marketing, and passing all of that cost to you. Leave it on the shelf. Number 2. Florette salad bags. I'll be honest with you, I bought these every week for years. I genuinely thought I was being healthy and efficient. Then I actually looked at what I was buying. Pre-washed salad bags from Florette and similar brands are among the most aggressively marked up items in any UK supermarket. You're paying roughly £1.80 for about 100 grams of leaves that have been cut, washed in chlorinated water, spun, bagged in a modified atmosphere to slow decay, and shipped to you in a bag that costs more to produce than the salad inside it. Here's the part that stings. The modified atmosphere, typically a mixture of nitrogen and CO2, slows wilting but doesn't stop it. Buy a bag on Monday, and by Wednesday it's already going soft at the edges and developing that unpleasant faint smell. You end up throwing a third of it away, which means the effective cost per usable gram is even higher than the sticker price suggests. A whole iceberg lettuce costs 49 pence. A whole romaine is about 60 pence. They'll last a week in your fridge, give you twice the volume, and taste noticeably better because the leaves haven't been cut and gassed and jostled around in a bag. The convenience is an illusion. Tearing leaves off a lettuce takes 45 seconds. You've been paying nearly 3 times more for 45 seconds. Number 3, Kenco Milicano instant coffee. Right, coffee. This is personal for a lot of people, so I'll tread carefully. But Kenco Milicano is a con, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Milicano markets itself as a new type of instant coffee that blends fine roast coffee particles with instant granules for a richer taste. What it actually is, a product designed to justify charging twice what regular instant coffee costs while still being nowhere near the experience of actual brewed coffee. A 100-gram jar runs about £5.50 at most supermarkets. For that money, you could buy a 200-gram bag of decent ground coffee, invest £20 in a basic cafetiere, and be drinking infinitely better coffee for years. The upfront cost pays for itself within a month. But here's the more interesting problem with Milicano specifically. The marketing positions it in a no-man's land, too processed to be real coffee, too premium priced to be a sensible instant. It exists purely to extract money from people who feel vaguely guilty about drinking instant but aren't quite ready to make the switch to brewing properly. That guilt is worth approximately £3 per jar to Kenco. Don't give it to them. Number 4. Warburton's thin bagels. 6 thin bagels for £1.50 sounds reasonable, until you realise that a genuine New York-style bagel, the kind with chew, with density, with that slight malt sweetness, should weigh around 110 to 130 grams. Warburton's thins weigh about 57 grams each. You are almost precisely buying half a bagel per bagel. But the weight isn't even the real issue. Look at the ingredients. Wheat flour, water, yeast, salt, fine, normal bread stuff, and then dextrose, palm oil, emulsifiers, E471, E481, preservatives, calcium propionate, and flour treatment agent, ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is vitamin C, used here not for nutrition, but as a dough conditioner. Palm oil is there to extend shelf life and improve texture. The emulsifiers are doing the structural work that proper fermentation time would do if anyone bothered to wait for it. A proper bagel from a decent bakery, and most UK cities have them now, costs about 60 to 80 pence individually. It's made with water, flour, malt, yeast, and salt. It will fill you up. It will taste like something. Warburton's Thins will taste like lightly toasted air wrapped in a ring shape. The thin in the name isn't a feature. It's the product telling you exactly what it is. Number 5, Heinz tomato ketchup, large squeezy bottle. Now, before anyone comes for me, I understand the brand loyalty. I grew up with the stuff. The Heinz ketchup bottle is practically a cultural artifact. But look at what's in the squeezy bottle you're paying £3.50 for. Tomatoes, 148 grams per 100 grams of ketchup, which means they cook it down fine. Spirit vinegar, sugar, salt, spice and herb extracts, and then spice. That's not an ingredient. That's a placeholder. Spice means Heinz doesn't have to tell you what's actually creating the flavor because it's proprietary. The sugar content is the headline though. 1 tablespoon of Heinz ketchup contains around 4 grams of sugar. Most people use 2 or 3 tablespoons. You're adding 12 grams of sugar, a third of the NHS recommended daily limit to your chips, silently, without thinking about it. Supermarket own brand ketchup, Tesco, Sainsbury's, Aldi's, Bramwell's, costs roughly half the price, contains similar or slightly lower sugar, and in blind taste tests, most people genuinely cannot reliably distinguish it from Heinz. That's not speculation. Consumer taste panels have tested this repeatedly. The premium you're paying is entirely for the bottle, the label, and 50 years of advertising. The ketchup inside is not twice as good. It is not even measurably better. Number 6, Uncle Ben's Express Rice. 3 minutes. That's the entire selling point. Pay £2.50 for a microwave pouch of rice instead of £1.20 for a 1 kilogram bag that makes 10 portions, because you need to save 3 minutes. Let's do the maths properly. Uncle Ben's Express Basmati is approximately £2.50 for 250 grams, 2 servings. That's £5 per 500 grams. A 1 kilogram bag of Tilda Basmati, a legitimately good Basmati, costs about £3.50. Per portion, Express rice costs you roughly 5 times more. The 3-minute claim is also a slight exaggeration of reality. You still have to take it out of the cupboard, pierce the film, put it in the microwave, wait, squeeze it out into a bowl, and wash the bowl. Cooking basmati rice in a pan takes 10 minutes of elapsed time, of which you are actively involved for about 90 seconds. Rinsing, boiling water, putting the lid on, turning it off. The express rice does have one legitimate use case: camping, or situations where you genuinely have no cooking facilities. If you're in a kitchen, you've been sold a solution to a problem you don't actually have. Number 7. Pret a Manger supermarket range. Pret expanded into supermarkets a few years ago and a lot of people were pleased about it. Pret in Tesco! How convenient. Then you look at the price and something quietly breaks inside you. A Pret tuna mayo baguette in a supermarket chiller costs around £4.25. A Tesco own-brand tuna mayo baguette made that morning, often by the same third-party supplier using the same ingredients, costs £2.10. You are paying £2.15 for a small cardboard label that says Pret. The supermarket Pret range is not made in Pret kitchens. It is not made by Pret staff. It is contract manufactured, the same as every other chilled sandwich in that cabinet, and packaged to look like you've grabbed something from a Pret shop. The brand association is doing all the work. The sandwich is doing very little of it. This isn't a criticism of Pret shops, which are fine. It's a very specific criticism of paying a 100% premium for a label in a context where the label genuinely means nothing. Number 8. Activia yogurt. Activia has been selling the same promise since 1987. Eat our yogurt, improve your gut health, feel better. The specific claim revolves around their exclusive probiotic culture, Bifidobacterium animalis DN-1 73010, which Danone branded as Bifidus actiregularis and built an entire global marketing campaign around. What the marketing doesn't foreground, virtually all natural yogurt contains live bacterial cultures. The NHS and most dietitians will tell you that any live plain yogurt provides similar probiotic benefits. The evidence that Activia's specific strain provides meaningfully superior gut health benefits to ordinary live yogurt is, to put it charitably, contested. Activia natural yogurt costs around £2 for 500 grams. Yo Valley Organic Natural Yogurt, which contains live cultures, tastes considerably better, uses higher welfare milk, costs about £1.80 for the same quantity. Total Greek yogurt, genuinely thick, genuinely live cultures, costs about £1.75. You are paying a premium for a bacterial strain that has been branded and trademarked, which is a remarkable thing when you stop to think about it. Danone found a way to make money from a microorganism by giving it a name that sounds like a French spa. Buy plain live yogurt. Your gut doesn't read marketing materials. Number 9. Walker's multipack crisps. There are 2 ways to buy Walker's crisps. You can buy a 6-pack of 25-gram bags for around £2, or you can buy a single 150-gram sharing bag. The same crisps made the same day in the same factory for about £1.30 per gram. The multipack costs you 1.3 pence. The sharing bag costs 0.87 pence. The multipack charges you roughly 50% more per gram purely for the act of pre-portioning. I know the argument. Portion control, the kids' lunchboxes, convenience, but a multipack is 6 bags, each containing about 1 handful of crisps, each generating 1 non-recyclable foil wrapper. You are paying extra to create more waste. A sharing bag, a set of small reusable containers from any supermarket at about £3 for 4, and 30 seconds of your time achieves identical results at significantly lower cost. If portion control is genuinely the goal, measuring out 25 grams into a container is more accurate than trusting a factory to do it consistently anyway. The multipack is one of the grocery industry's most successful pieces of theatre. The individual bags feel like a different, better product. They aren't. They're the same crisps in smaller wrappers that cost more. Number 10. Colgate Optic White. Clinically proven, professional results, noticeably whiter teeth in 1 week, £5.49 for 75 millilitres, which is about 3 times the cost of ordinary Colgate. The active whitening ingredient in Optic White is hydrogen peroxide at a concentration of around 1%. This is a real whitening agent. It does work, modestly, over time, on surface staining. Here's the context they don't offer. Regular fluoride toothpaste also removes surface staining through the mild abrasives it already contains. The difference in whitening effect between standard toothpaste and peroxide-enhanced whitening toothpaste, used over several weeks, is real but small, typically measured in 1 to 2 shade units on the Vita scale, which is the dental color reference. 1 shade, maybe 2. If genuinely whiter teeth matter to you, a dentist can provide professional whitening treatment using peroxide gels at concentrations of 10 to 35%. That's the product that produces dramatic results. Optic White at 1% is a diluted, heavily marketed version of the same chemistry. You're paying a premium for a product that works slightly, while being positioned to make you think it works significantly. The gap between those 2 things is worth about £4 per tube to Colgate. Number 11. Dolmio Stir in Pasta Sauce. A small 150-gram pot of Dolmio Stir in sauce costs around £1.60. Inside, tomatoes, sunflower oil, onion, sugar, garlic, modified maize starch, salt, citric acid, and herb extracts. Modified maize starch is a thickener. It's there because a sauce this size needs to look and feel substantial, despite not containing very much. Herb extracts rather than herbs means cheaper, more shelf-stable flavouring. The portion is designed for 1, which sounds convenient, until you realise the implied serving size makes the price per meal genuinely painful. A 400-gram tin of good Italian chopped tomatoes, Tirio, Dorica, or even Tesco's own costs 55 to 70 pence. Add a clove of garlic, roughly 5 pence, a pinch of dried oregano, pennies, a splash of olive oil, and 10 minutes on the hob, and you have a pasta sauce that serves 2 to 3 people, tastes incomparably better, and costs less in total than 1 portion of Dolmio. This is not a cooking skill issue. This is the simplest possible thing you can make in a kitchen. If Dolmio Stir In has found a permanent place in your cupboard, it's not because you can't make pasta sauce. It's because Dolmio has successfully convinced you that you can't. You can. It takes 10 minutes. Please try it. Number 12. Premium own-label water, Waitrose Dutchie, M&S Collection, etc. Waitrose sells still spring water at around £1.50 for 750 millilitres. Marks & Spencer sells their collection still water at similar prices. These are products that exist at the precise intersection of 2 very British anxieties, class signalling and wellness. They are, in the most literal possible sense, water. The UK has some of the most stringently tested tap water in the world. Thames Water, Yorkshire Water, Severn Trent. Regardless of what you think of their corporate behaviour, the actual water that comes out of your tap meets EU-derived standards that require testing for over 50 parameters of quality. In blind tests, significant numbers of people cannot distinguish premium bottled water from filtered tap water. A Brita filter jug costs about £25. Replacement filters cost around £5 each and last a month. If you drink 2 litres per day, a year of filtered tap water costs you roughly £85 in filter cartridges. A year of drinking 750 millilitres premium bottled water at £1.50 per bottle, 2 bottles a day, costs £1,095. That is £1,000 a year for the feeling of drinking something nicer. The Dutchie label is a lifestyle product dressed as a hydration product. It is perfectly legal, elegantly marketed, and entirely unnecessary. Buy a decent water bottle, use your tap, keep the £1,000. The final word. None of this requires a dramatic overhaul of how you shop. Pick 2 or 3 items from this list that you genuinely buy, swap them out, and watch what happens to your weekly bill. The goal isn't to make shopping joyless or to strip out every convenience. The goal is to stop funding other people's marketing budgets with money that could stay in your pocket. Read the labels. Compare the unit prices. UK supermarkets are required to display price per 100 grams or per litre, and most people never look at it. And maybe just occasionally question whether the brand on the front of the packet is doing more work than whatever's inside it. Usually it is.